formulated this whole entire fake ass story about this fake person. Like there's no such thing as Linda. We don't know who Linda is, but I just formulated that whole person and gave them a whole back.
Am I really that much to handle? Breaking these niggas down like a camel. You don't really know you.
My name is Siren and I'm the creativepreneur, and welcome to the Sell Your Story course, where I'm going to teach you how to make your story sell. So you are here because you have a story to sell, and you're trying to figure out how to get that story across to your target audience, to your target market, so you can sell whatever product or service. I've done this with 3 different businesses: a product business, a service business, and a brick and mortar business. So because I've done this 3 different times, I know it works. Each way was a little bit different than how I did it, but the core foundation that I'm about to teach you right now was the same. So I'm going to teach you how to figure out, first of all, what your story is and how to make it relate to the person that you're trying to get to purchase your product or service. Before I get into actually how to construct a story. So this is part 1 of your course. Well, part 1 and part 2, okay? So let's go ahead and get to it. So the first thing we want to do is we want to map out our story. So the way I like to map out my story, I like to think about several things. I like to think about the who, the what, the where, the why, and the lesson learned. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is the who. How would you describe yourself if someone asked you who you are? So what you want to do is you want to get yourself, before we even get into it, I should have said this before, you want to get yourself a pen. You want to get yourself a pen and a paper, so that way you can write down the who, what, when, and why. The who, what, that way you can write the next thing I'm about to say, so that way you can also refer to it to your notes every single time that you are about to post a piece of content, whether you directed it and wrote it, or whether you're giving a concept to your creative director to direct the commercial for you. All right, so we're gonna write this down, so that way we can come back to it later. In order for you to know, so I want you guys to write this down, so that way you can come back when you're every time you're writing a new piece of content, a new story, whether it be fantasy or reality or whatever you want to refer back to this journal that we're going to make today. Okay, so let's start with the who. How would you describe yourself if someone asked you who you are? So if I came up to you today and I was like, hi, who are you? What's the first thing that comes to mind? Whatever the first thing that comes to mind, even if you feel like whatever you're writing down is too personal and whatever, just write it down. Whatever the first thing that comes to mind when someone asks you, hey, who are you? Write that down. Okay, you want to write that down. You want to write down everything that you want to write down everything that you feel that defines you, whether it be like the struggles that you've been through, the accomplishments that you made, the problems that you solved, your hometown where you grew up, things that you like, things that you don't like, things that you appreciate, things that you don't appreciate, things that you want to change in the world, things that you love about the world, things like that. Get really deep and in depth with it. Don't keep it surface level, like, don't keep it surface level, like, oh, I am somebody who likes the color pink and I like to play tennis. Okay, why do you like the color pink and why do you like to play tennis? Why do you like the color pink and why do you like to play tennis? Okay, or did you start playing tennis at a young age and that's how you met your best group of girlfriends? Did you start playing tennis when you were away for school and that's how you met your group of girlfriends? Or do you love do you love how empowering tennis makes you feel? Whatever. Why do you like to play tennis? So it's not, oh, I'm Holly, I like tennis. It's Holly, I like tennis. I'm Holly, I like tennis, and I like tennis because. So go in depth with your reasonings. Go in depth when you're describing yourself. Okay, I want this should at least be 1 page long in a notebook. It should at least be 1 page long in a notebook. So after that we're going to go to the next thing, right? So the next thing is describe exactly what you offer, your services, your products, your experiences, whatever, whether you have. Okay, the next one that we're going to go to is the what. All right, so describe what you offer exactly. So is it services, is it products, is it experiences? What is it that you offer? So I want you should be on the next page and you should be writing down the what is it that you're selling to someone. Are you selling someone a product? Like, are you selling someone a product that you actually have to ship out, like lip gloss, lashes, hair, gear, jackets, clothing, stuff like that? Or are you selling a service where you're trying to get people to come into your salon? You're trying to get people to hire your car detailing service. You're trying to get people to hire your credit repair services. You're trying to get people, you know, what exactly are you trying to get people? What's the service that you're trying to get somebody to come to? Or are you selling an experience? Like me, I have a couples themed hotel. It's an immersive couples experience. So I sell experiences. Like, yeah, it's travel and all that stuff, but it's mainly I have centered it as an experience. That's what I sell, an experience. Okay, so the next thing you want to be writing down to the T in full detail what exactly is your service, product, or experience. Okay, now after we got that written down, the next page you want to flip over to another page and we're going to work on the where. All right, where are you from / located? Does your location influence your work or your story? Right, so what do I mean by that? So where are you from? Are you from, okay, so let's say like we're talking about Linda. I'm Linda who sells lip gloss, and I'm from Chicago. Chicago gets really, really, really cold, and Chicago gets really, really cold in the wintertime, but I still like to go out. I still like to be cute or whatever, but I want my lip gloss to be, you know, hydrating for them cold winter months and stuff like that. I remember my lips used to get real, real chapped and stuff like that, and I just, you know, so where I'm from, Chicago, where it really, really, really gets cold, I'm Chicago home based. All right. You may or may not always use the where. You may or may not always use the where, okay? But you still want to have that down for those of you where the where you are matters, okay? So we want to write down where you are and if it influences your story at all, okay? If it doesn't influence your story, that's fine. If it does influence your story, then, you know, that's a plus to add to your story, okay? So you want to write down the where for that reason. Now, the second reason why you want to write down the where is because if you're going to be even if you're going to be using physical models, but especially if you're going to be using AI, if you're located in like a tropical area or something like that, let's say you're located in Miami, right? You might want to do like your building with graphics and stuff like that are real beachy and stuff that has to do with water and things like that, things that people think when they go to Miami. If you're located in New York, you might want to use like city lights and be a fast-paced city with, you know, this and that and stuff like that, and bright lights and stuff like that, luxury. When people think New York, they think of that type of stuff. So you might want to use that for your branding as well. So that's why the important is where that's why it's important to write down the where, because you may or may not use that in your story. So we want to make sure we write down the where just in case we do, so we can reference that later, or the whatever AI or creative director we hire can also reference that. Okay, so that's going to be the second. That's going to be the third thing. So the fourth thing is the why you started your brand or business. So you want to write down, of course you should already know that people want to know why your story began, why you opened this business, why you run this business, you know, why. So you want to write down why. So okay, let's go back to Linda. Like, Linda started this lip gloss company because she lives in Chicago. It's really cold in Chicago, but she's a city girl. She likes to go out. She likes to have fun. She likes to look cute and stuff like that. But she just notices like her lips has always been real, like her lips are always really, 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 really chapped and stuff like that because of the winter cold months. And like even like regular lip gloss doesn't last. So she created a formula for those really, really people who live in really, really harsh climates and stuff like that, but still don't want to sacrifice beauty. Still don't want to they still don't want to sacrifice beauty. They still don't want to sacrifice something that smells good and things like that. So she opened her lip gloss company because she's a nightlife girl. She's a socialite and stuff like that, but she feels insecure getting out close to people, talking to people and stuff like that with crusty chapped lips and stuff like that, but she can't help it because she got, you know, eczema on her lips or whatever. She got eczema on her lips, and she has eczema, and people with eczema sometimes our lips break out, especially in extreme climate changes and things like that. So she formulated this not only beautiful, full of color, smelling good lip gloss, but also is formulated to actually help with chapped lips. Now you see how I just formulated this whole entire fake ass story about this fake person. Like there's no such thing as Linda. We don't know who Linda is, but I just formulated that whole person and gave them a whole backstory just by concentrating on who she was. Her name is Linda. She's from Chicago. She's a socialite, right? Her what? She offers lip gloss. She offers lip gloss that is not only beautiful, not only smells good, but also helps with chapped looks, especially in climates that are really harsh on the skin, right? The wear. She is from Chicago. This influenced her story because Chicago has a really cold climate in the wintertime, and she likes to go out and stuff like that and be a socialite with the Chicago city life. But also when she wants to get close to people and stuff like that, she doesn't want them to see her crusty, dry, cracked lips and stuff like that, right? So her climate and the why she started this business. Again, she started this business because she wanted to create a lip gloss that still is cute, that still smell good, but actually help with females or whoever wants to wear her lip gloss who lives in these colder climates and stuff like that. So makeup doesn't last the same way it would in a regular climate, right? So now you have her who, you have her what, and you have her where, and you have her why, right? Now, the last thing that I want to say is now that you have those, the last thing you want to have is the lesson learned or solution that you're offering. All right, what transformations, solutions, or results do your clients get from your work? So with the lip gloss, with her lip gloss, the results that you get are softer, clearer lips in cold weather climate that's usually harsh one, like on makeup and stuff, like it dries up or whatever, right? So her solution to dry, cracked lips in harsh winter climates is her lip gloss. So you have her who, again, you have her who, you have her what, you have her where, you have her why, you have her lesson learned, well, her solution offering, because it's either going to be a lesson that you learned or it's going to be a solution that you're offering for a specific that your product or service solves. So there we go. We literally created a character. Linda, she has a whole personality, a whole character, a whole, like, you have her whole, like, basically that's her whole brand. So now that we have her whole brand, now we can start to formulate different stories around Linda, so we can start to brand her page, brand her commercials, brand her ads and stuff like that. So we have a basic script that we're sticking to, and then we're just going to make different variations of that same story and tell it in many different ways. Okay, so that is step number 1 of how to map out your story, so we can figure out what your story is in the first place. And then with that being said, that was lesson 1, and we're going to go ahead and move on to the second lesson of this course. Okay, now yes, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.